Hello everyone, Lawrence, Brendan, Insurance Fundi. Today we're going to be talking about income replacement on disability. So quickly to start off, we've already done a video on lump sum disability cover. Basically the point of lump sum disability cover is to pay off any debts you have on becoming disabled.
Correct.
It's based on permanent disability only, and that's the big difference between that and what we're going to discuss today.
Correct. Is it worth just recapping the own and own a similar occupation definition for anyone that hasn't seen that video?
Okay, there's two major types of occupational disability. There's own occupational disability cover, where you are covered for your nominated occupation or your specific occupation. So if you're a surgeon, you notify them that you're a surgeon and you insure yourself for own occupational disability cover. So if you cut your finger and you can no longer be a surgeon, it would pay out.
Correct.
The other option is own or similar occupation, where you are qualified in terms of your previous experience, your skills, your training to perform another type of
So they might find another job for you.
Well, let's get the surgeon. He's cut his finger. He doesn't have own occupation cover, but he has the other one, own or similar. But this guy can still go and do research and other medical sort of services. So he wouldn't qualify in terms of the second type of cover for a payout in terms of the definition. And remember, the definition is illness or injury.
Yep.
Right, unable to perform his or her occupation.
So now income replacement, obviously as the name suggests, you're covering your salary. And for the first 24 months you can cover your full income, but it is your net income. It used to be your gross income, and it used to be a tax deduction, am I correct?
Okay, so from March 2015, I think. March 2015,
Don't quote us.
Don't quote us, but anyway, it's gone. Prior to that, everyone used to have an income protection policy because the premium that you paid for that policy was tax deductible. Every year you could claim a tax deduction.
Because at claim stage,
the benefit
would be taxable.
Was taxable.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So government must have seen that they're paying out too many, giving too much tax benefits to people, and they're not getting enough money
back.
Close
the loophole.
So they closed that loophole and they said, we are no longer going to give you a tax deduction on what you pay, and therefore whatever you get out when you're disabled pays out to you tax-free.
Correct.
All right. And then of course they also changed it from taxing your, insuring your gross income to your net income. Right. So they're looking at your cost to company net of tax monthly salary, which is then insured. So as you rightly said, first 2 years you can insure 100% of your after tax, your net salary per month, and then after that 24 months has expired, generally the insurance companies drop it to 75%.
So the first 24 months, for the most part, the reason why they do that is, as far as I can recall, is so that they just really wanted to work out whether or not the disability is temporary or permanent.
I would assume so, for that period, because that's the nice thing about income protection. It pays out on temporary and permanent disability. So yes, but there are insurance companies that will allow you to insure for 100% of your net salary ongoing till the day you retire.
And when does it normally ends at 65?
60, 65, 70. I think one of the companies allows you to insure for longer than that.
And you can obviously take an escalation, in-claim escalation on the benefit, so that during, let's say it's a 40-year period that you're claiming from, you'd obviously need that income to stick at least with inflation.
Correct. You're going to have an escalation in claim, so it'll rise. Some insurance companies say either with the lower of inflation or 10%. So whichever is the lower of the two, your cover amount while disabled would increase every year.
Okay.
And of course you'd also have the cover increase while you're not disabled. So every year you'd have an inflation linked or a 5% increase in the actual benefit that you're getting. Another thing also to remember is that there's a waiting period. All right. So the longer the waiting period you choose prior to getting your first monthly paycheck from them, the cheaper the premium becomes.
Yeah.
So you can choose, if you're self-employed, from 7 days backdated to 1 month waiting period. Most people go for 1 month, and if you really want a cheaper premium, you go 3 months. Some offer up to 24 months waiting period before paying the first income.
So here's the question then, which disability cover do you need So lump sum or income replacement, or is it a case of, in actual fact, you need a combination of both? I would assume if you have liabilities, bonds, cars, some heavy stuff you want to square off if you're disabled, you want a lump sum payout, and then an income replacement payout to cover, well, naturally to cover your income. Or you could take a lump sum disability payout, have it cashed out to you, go to the bank or an investment company, invest it, but there you're obviously at the risk of what type of return you get there.
It depends what you want. You could settle with only one, but as you just said, the risk with a lump sum, firstly, it only pays out on permanent disability.
Yeah.
So if you have a minor car accident, you can't work for 6 months, you're not going to get a payout on the lump sum one. Right, so it's permanent disability. Once again, as you said, you're investing that money and you've got to hope that it generates income till you eventually retire, because now the investment risk lies with you as the investor. But generally, you're taking that lump sum stuff out to pay off your debts, clear yourself of all debt. And then you'd want to have on top of that an income protection policy which continues to provide your monthly income net of tax going forward. But you could also, if you didn't have the lump sum, you could still, of course, pay out all your debts from your monthly income that continues to pay out. Between the two, I think the income replacement is superior.
Yeah.
It is more expensive than the lump sum disability. But I mean, if you had to become disabled at the age of 25 and you had 5 million rand lump sum paid out to you, and on the other hand you had 25,000 rand a month income protection till the day you turn 70. If you take those 25,000 times that number of years, you might be getting 15 million.
Correct.
On the income protection versus the other one.
Also important just to check with your company, if you belong to a company pension or provident fund, if they've got a group risk benefit attached to it, that you might be enjoying some of these benefits automatically that you're not even aware of. So it's best to pop into HR and just have a look at exactly, because some of those pension provident contributions are going towards the risk policy attached to that.
Yes, and of course what your danger there is, if you've already got it with your company and you've got a separate policy, they're going to combine the two together. And if you're over-insured, if let's say you're 150% insured, you're only going to get the 75%. So you don't want to be paying for something that you're not going to benefit. And another thing is you're also going to have to be able to prove your income when you become disabled. A lot of insurance companies allow you to prove up front. In other words, you can send them a payslip to confirm, so there's no issues when you start claiming. Because you could insure yourself for 50,000 rand a month, but if you're only earning 20,000 rand a month at that point in time, well, you've been paying all those years for cover that you're not going to get to enjoy.
And what would you suggest if you're self-employed? Then you'd have to have the same thing. You'd have to just prove income, salaried income. Not anything else you pull in from the business.
You depend. You'd either look at whatever you're submitting for your tax return, or you'd look at your income into your business, less the expenses in the business, and then determine it. They do have certain formulas for business owners to calculate how much cover they should take, and any good financial advisor should be able to help you with that. Do that calculation for you and assist you to get the cover. What else is there in terms of you'll also find that the cover is comprehensive. In other words, it covers occupational disability. The second tier below that is functional impairment. So they have sort of 6 daily tasks. If you fail more than 3, then you're declared functionally impaired. And then the final tier is physical impairment, the actual physical loss of a limb or eyes or ears, etc. So comprehensive disability is always the route to go. Never go core, always preferably comprehensive.
If you can afford it,
If you can afford it, because it's going to cover not only occupation, it's going to cover functional impairment as well as physical impairment.
Perfect.
What have we missed out there?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
That's a wrap. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Ciao.
Ciao. Bye-bye.